Adrian Carter looked up at the night sky from his small backyard in Nebraska. The stars were bright, but one light moved differently than the others. It grew bigger each night. The news said it was an alien ship. "They're really coming," he whispered to himself. Adrian worked as a physicist at a small research lab. He wasn't famous or important, but he noticed things others missed. Lately, his instruments had been picking up strange readings in Earth's magnetic field. Something was different, but he couldn't figure out what. 3 days later, the aliens called Xerians landed their ship on the White House lawn. Tall, blue-skinned beings with 4 arms stepped out and greeted the president. They spoke perfect English through small devices on their necks. "We come in peace," their leader said. "We are the Xerian Confederation, travelers from across the stars. We wish to establish friendly relations with Earth." The whole world watched on TV. People celebrated in the streets. After years of wondering if we were alone in the universe, we finally had our answer. Lisa Harmon stood nearby as Earth's ambassador. She had been chosen because of her work at the United Nations. Lisa smiled and shook the aliens' hands, but something felt wrong. The way they looked at humans reminded her of how people look at small children or pets. 2 weeks later, Lisa was invited aboard the Xerian mothership for a dinner. She walked down a hallway to find the bathroom when she heard laughter from behind a door. She stopped to listen. "These humans are even more primitive than we thought," a Xerian voice said. "They haven't even figured out basic gravitational manipulation. They still burn fossil fuels." Another voice laughed. "Their ambassador, that Lisa female, thinks we consider them equals. As if any species that hasn't mastered interstellar travel could be our equal. Well, their planet sits at a perfect location for our defense network against the Dracorians. We'll let them think we're friends while we set up our bases. They'll be grateful for our protection." Lisa's heart pounded. She quickly walked away before they could discover her. The Xerians weren't friends. They were using Earth. Meanwhile, Adrian's lab equipment kept showing stronger magnetic anomalies. He stayed late one night, running tests on soil samples from different locations. "This doesn't make sense," he said to himself. "According to these readings, Earth's core has properties I've never seen described in any textbook." His computer beeped with results from his latest experiment. Adrian stared at the screen, then checked the numbers 3 times. "That's impossible," he whispered. He had discovered that Earth's magnetic field could be manipulated to produce energy in ways that defied current physics. If his calculations were correct, this energy could be powerful enough to change everything. The next morning, Lisa called an emergency meeting with the president and key military leaders. She told them what she had overheard on the Xerian ship. "They're mocking us," she said. "They think we're stupid and weak. They only want our planet for its strategic location in their war against someone called the Dracorians." General Peter Walsh pounded his fist on the table. "I knew it. They've been restricting our access to their technology, claiming it's for our safety." "What do we do?" asked the president. "Their weapons are far beyond ours." Lisa's phone rang. It was a call from a small research lab in Nebraska. Something about an urgent scientific discovery. "Madam Ambassador," said the excited voice of Adrian Carter. "I found something about Earth that the Xerians don't know. Something that could change everything." Lisa looked at the worried faces around her. "Tell me more, Dr. Carter." "It's about Earth's magnetic field," Adrian replied. "It has properties unlike anywhere else in the galaxy, and I think I know how to use it." For the first time since the aliens landed, Lisa felt hope. Maybe the Xerians shouldn't be so quick to mock Earth after all. 1 week after his discovery, Adrian Carter met with Lisa Harmon in a small room deep inside a government building. Maps and scientific charts covered the walls. Armed guards stood outside the door. "Show me again," Lisa said. Adrian held up a small metal device. It was the size of a baseball. He flipped a switch, and the device began to hum. The lights in the room flickered. "This is just a prototype," Adrian explained. "It taps into Earth's unique magnetic field. Nothing fancy yet, but it produces 10 times more energy than anything the Xerians have shown us. Lisa picked up the device carefully. And you're sure they don't know about this? Positive. I checked their scientific database they shared with us. They've never seen a planet with our exact magnetic properties. They think we're just a rock with a nice location. The door opened and Olivia Wright walked in. She had short red hair and wore a military uniform with many medals. Until last week, she had been designing weapons for the army. Ambassador Harmon, Dr. Carter, Olivia nodded to them. I've reviewed your findings. If we can scale this up, we might have a chance against the Xerians. Lisa put the device down. We need to keep this secret. The Xerians are watching our major research facilities. I have a solution, Olivia said. My uncle owns land in the Rocky Mountains. Remote area, no one around for miles. We can build our lab underground. Adrian looked at the maps on the wall. How soon can we start? Tomorrow, Lisa answered. I formed a special team called Project Ignition. Top scientists and military personnel only. The president has approved emergency funding. Meanwhile, across town, Xerian officials were meeting with Earth's leaders. Their commander, Valex, spread his forearms wide as he spoke. We are concerned about activity in your southern hemisphere. Our sensors detected weapon testing. This violates our protection agreement. The president nodded politely. Just routine exercises, Commander Valex. Nothing that would concern the Xerian Confederation. Valex's eyes narrowed. For your protection, we must restrict all military activities. We will also place monitors at your major research facilities. Of course, the president said. Earth appreciates your protection. After the meeting, the president called Lisa. The Xerians are tightening their grip. How long until Project Ignition has something useful? Adrian needs 3 months. Maybe less with Olivia helping. 2 weeks later, deep in the Rocky Mountains, Adrian and Olivia watched workers carve out a massive underground chamber. Trucks brought in equipment under the cover of night. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock. We need better containment for the magnetic reaction, Adrian said, looking at blueprints. The energy output is growing faster than I predicted. Olivia pointed to a section of the design. What if we use the mountain itself as part of the containment? The natural iron deposits could help stabilize the field. Adrian's eyes widened. That's brilliant. It might even amplify the effect. In space, aboard the Xerian mothership, Commander Valex reviewed reports with his lieutenant. The humans are hiding something, Valex said. Our sensors show unusual energy readings from their northern continent. Should we investigate? Asked the lieutenant. Not yet. It's probably nothing important. These humans can barely travel to their own moon. What threat could they pose to us? The lieutenant laughed. True. Their technology is hundreds of years behind ours. Back in the underground lab, Adrian connected the final wire to a device much larger than his prototype. The machine hummed to life, and the entire mountain seemed to vibrate slightly. Energy levels stable, Olivia reported. Output at 200% of projected capacity. Adrian smiled. It works even better than I hoped. We can start miniaturizing this for different applications. Lisa watched from behind a protective shield. How soon until we have something we can use if the Xerians turn hostile? Adrian and Olivia looked at each other. 1 month, they answered together. Outside, snow fell gently on the mountain, hiding all traces of the secret facility where humanity's best hope was taking shape. And high above, the Xerians continued to mock the primitive humans, unaware of what was brewing beneath a quiet mountain. The morning sun had just touched the tops of the Rocky Mountains when alarms blared throughout the secret facility. Greg Summers, head of security for Project Ignition, rushed to the monitoring station. What's happening? He asked the operator. Xerian inspection team heading this way. 6 vehicles, coming up the mountain road. Greg grabbed his radio. This is Summers. Code yellow. All prototypes to secure storage. All personnel to civilian cover positions. 5 minutes. Scientists scrambled to hide their work. Olivia Wright helped Adrian Carter pack their newest device into a lead-lined case. "How did they find us?" Adrian asked. "Maybe they didn't," Olivia replied. "Maybe it's a routine patrol. Either way, we need to look like a normal mining operation." Greg met the Xerian inspection team at the entrance. There were 4 aliens and 2 human guides who worked for the Xerian embassy. "Welcome to Blue Ridge Mining Company," Greg said with a friendly smile. "How can I help you folks today?" The lead Xerian, tall with dark blue skin, looked down at him. "We detected unusual energy readings from this location. We are authorized to inspect all facilities on this continent." Greg nodded. "Of course. Let me give you the tour. We're a small operation, mining copper and zinc." Inside, workers operated normal mining equipment. The hidden lab entrances were concealed behind heavy machinery and false walls. Adrian and Olivia posed as geologists, studying rock samples in a small office. The Xerians scanned everything with handheld devices. When they approached the hidden entrance to the main lab, their scanner beeped loudly. "What's behind this wall?" the Xerian asked. Greg didn't hesitate. "Old tunnel that collapsed last year. Still gives off some methane gas. That's probably what your scanner is picking up." The Xerian pointed his device directly at the wall. "This reading is not consistent with methane." Adrian stepped forward. "Excuse me, but we found unusual mineral deposits in that area before the collapse. My colleague and I have been studying them. Would you like to see our findings?" He handed the Xerian a tablet with charts and data about a made-up mineral. The Xerian examined it briefly. "This is primitive research," he said finally. "Continue your work." After the inspection team left, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. "Quick thinking," Olivia told Adrian. "They barely looked at the data," Adrian replied. "They assumed it was worthless because humans made it." Later that night, in the now secure lab, Adrian and Olivia made their biggest breakthrough yet. Their device successfully created a contained energy field that could block Xerian sensor technology. "It's a shield," Olivia said in amazement. "A perfect shield against their scans." Adrian nodded excitedly. "And it can do more. Watch this." He adjusted some settings, and the energy field expanded. When he fired a laser into it, the energy was absorbed and then redirected to a target on the other side of the room. "It doesn't just block," Adrian explained. "It can capture energy and redirect it." At the same time, at the United Nations building in New York, Lisa Harmon received an unexpected visitor in her office. A tall, reptilian alien with green scales and yellow eyes stood before her. "Ambassador Harmon," the alien said, "I am Krell, representative of the Dracorian Empire. We have been monitoring your situation with the Xerians." Lisa remained calm, though her heart raced. "The Dracorians, the ones the Xerians are at war with." Krell nodded. "The Xerians did not come to your planet out of friendship. They came to establish a military outpost against us." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because we wish to propose an alliance." Krell placed a small device on her desk. "This contains information about Xerian weaknesses. Their fleet will arrive in your orbit soon. You will need help." Lisa looked at the device. "And what would the Dracorians want in return?" Krell smiled, showing sharp teeth. "The same thing the Xerians want. A strategic position. The difference is, we're being honest about it." After Krell left, Lisa contacted Project Ignition. "How close are we to a working prototype?" Adrian's voice came through. "We just had our first successful test. But there's something else you should know. We've made contact with another alien race." Lisa Harmon sat at the large table in the White House Situation Room. Military leaders and government officials filled every chair. President Kate Donovan stood at the front of the room beside a large screen. "The Xerian fleet will reach Earth orbit in 1 week, the president announced. "Commander Valix claims they're coming to protect us from the Dracorian threat." General Mills snorted. "Protect us? They're using Earth as a battlefield in their war." Lisa stood up. I've analyzed the Dracorian offer of alliance. I don't think we should trust either alien race. They both want Earth for its strategic location. The president nodded. What about Project Ignition? Are we ready to defend ourselves? Adrian Carter and Olivia Wright entered the room. Adrian carried a metal briefcase. We've made significant progress, Adrian said. He opened the case and took out a small device shaped like a disc. This shield generator can protect an area the size of a small city from Xerian weapons and sensors. He placed the disc on the table and pressed a button. A faint blue glow surrounded the room. Right now, no Xerian technology can detect us, Olivia explained. We've made 20 of these devices so far. Not enough to protect the whole planet, General Mills said. True, Adrian replied. But we've discovered something else. He looked at Olivia. The shields have an unexpected effect on Xerian ships, Olivia continued. They disrupt their navigation and communication systems. We can effectively blind them. President Donovan studied the device. Can we use this offensively? We're working on it, Adrian said. We've started converting the technology into weapons. Across the world, tensions were rising. Xerian bases had been established on every continent. They controlled access to technologies and restricted human movement. People were growing angry. In Chicago, protesters surrounded a Xerian facility. They carried signs and chanted for the aliens to leave Earth. Xerian guards watched from behind energy barriers. A similar scene played out in Beijing, London, and Rio de Janeiro. The whole world was united against the unwelcome visitors. On the Xerian mothership, Commander Valix received reports of the growing unrest. These humans are becoming a nuisance, he said to his officers. Some of our monitoring stations are detecting unusual energy signatures from several Earth facilities. Perhaps they've developed new technology, suggested one officer. Valix laughed. Impossible. Their science is far too primitive. But as a precaution, I'd want stricter controls on all human research centers. Back at Project Ignition's mountain facility, Adrian made an exciting discovery. He burst into Olivia's office late at night. I figured it out, he exclaimed. Our technology doesn't just disrupt Xerian systems. It can create a chain reaction in their power cores. Olivia looked up from her computer. What do you mean? Their ships use a similar energy pattern to power their systems. If we can introduce our energy signature into one ship, it could spread to others nearby, like a virus. You're talking about disabling their entire fleet at once, Olivia said, eyes wide. Exactly. But we need to test it first. The next day, Lisa Harmon met with Krell, the Dracorian representative, in a secure location. We appreciate your offer of alliance, Lisa told him. But Earth has decided to remain independent for now. Krell looked surprised. You cannot hope to stand against the Xerian fleet alone. Lisa smiled slightly. We have some unique advantages the Xerians don't know about. Such as? Krell asked. Lisa didn't answer directly. Instead, she gave Krell a data drive. This contains information about some new Earth technologies. Nothing specific, just general capabilities. You might want to consider how this affects Dracorian strategic planning. Krell studied her face. You're more resourceful than the Xerians believe. That's what they'll discover, Lisa replied, when it's too late. That evening, President Donovan addressed the world. She announced that Earth would not accept Xerian control any longer. All nations would stand together against alien domination. As she spoke, the first lights of the approaching Xerian battle fleet became visible in the night sky. The Xerian battle fleet hung in Earth's sky like new stars. 12 massive ships surrounded by smaller vessels. People around the world looked up in fear. Some prayed. Others prepared to fight. Commander Valix sent a message to all Earth leaders. His blue face appeared on screens worldwide. Humans of Earth, your resistance to our protection is foolish. Our fleet has arrived to ensure your safety from the Dracorian threat. All military activities must cease immediately. Any human weapons pointed at our ships will result in severe punishment. In the White House Situation Room, President Donovan watched the message with her advisors. "He's not even pretending to be friendly anymore," she said. General Mills pointed to a map showing shield generator locations around the world. "We've protected major cities and military bases, but not everywhere." "It's time," the president decided. She picked up a secure phone. "Activate Project Ignition." At the Rocky Mountain facility, Adrian and Olivia received the order. They nodded to each other and began the final preparations. "All shield generators online," Olivia reported. "Energy levels stable." Adrian checked readings on a large screen. "Chain reaction device ready for deployment. We'll need to get it close to at least one Xerian ship." Greg Summers entered the room. "The first wave of our new fighters is ready. 20 planes equipped with your technology." "Who's flying them?" Adrian asked. "Volunteers. Best pilots from around the world." Maria Delgado climbed into the cockpit of her modified F-35 fighter jet. The plane looked normal from the outside, but inside it contained Adrian's technology. She had been a test pilot before the Xerians came. Now she would lead the first counterattack. "Eagle Squadron, check in," she called over the radio. 19 other pilots responded, ready for battle. "Remember your training," Maria told them. "Their weapons can't lock onto us through the shields. Stay in formation. Target the smaller ships first." The fighters took off from a hidden runway inside a mountain. They climbed rapidly toward the Xerian fleet. On his command ship, Valex received an alert. "Human aircraft approaching," an officer reported. 20 small fighters. Valex laughed. 20. Against our fleet. Destroy them quickly as an example." The Xerian ships fired energy weapons at the approaching Earth fighters, but the beams passed harmlessly through Adrian's shields. Maria's voice came over the squadron radio. "Shields holding. Weapons hot. Engage." The Earth fighters fired missiles equipped with the new technology. When they hit the Xerian ships, they didn't explode. Instead, they attached to the hull and began pulsing with blue energy. "What's happening?" Valex demanded as warning lights flashed across his bridge. "Why can't we hit them?" "Unknown, Commander," an officer replied. "Their ships are generating some kind of energy field we've never seen before, and the devices they've attached to our vessels are disrupting our systems." On Earth, Adrian watched data streaming from the battle. "It's working. The energy disruption is spreading through their smaller ships." Olivia pointed to a warning indicator, but their main weapons on the big ships are still operational. They're preparing to fire on cities. In New York, a Xerian destroyer positioned itself over Manhattan. Its main cannon began to glow. Lisa Harmon stood in her office at the UN, watching the ship through her window. She touched her earpiece. "New York target is in position." At that moment, a massive shield dome appeared over the city. The Xerian ship fired, but the energy blast bounced off the shield and reflected back at the ship, damaging its hull. Similar scenes played out over London, Tokyo, Beijing, and other major cities. The Xerians fired, and their own weapons were turned against them. Velex stared in disbelief at the reports coming in. Half his fleet was experiencing system failures. Earth cities were protected by technology that shouldn't be possible. "How?" he demanded. "How have they done this?" On the main viewer, he saw Maria's squadron flying in formation toward his command ship. Behind them rose Earth's first space defense fleet, 50 vessels built in secret, all powered by Adrian's technology. "Commander," an officer said, voice shaking, "the humans are hailing us." President Donovan's face appeared on the screen. "Commander Valex, perhaps you should have been less quick to mock Earth." Commander Valex's face turned a darker shade of blue as he watched Earth's ships approach his fleet. This wasn't supposed to happen. Humans were primitive, weak. How were they fighting back? "Target their lead vessels," he ordered. "Use all weapons." The Xerian command ship fired its main cannons. Massive energy beams shot toward Maria's squadron. But the beams split around the Earth fighters, unable to touch them. In her cockpit, Maria smiled. Eagle Squadron, stay on course. Their weapons can't hurt us. The Earth fighters flew between the larger Xerian ships, attaching more of Adrian's devices to their hulls. Each device pulsed with blue energy that spread across the alien vessels like veins. On Earth, Adrian watched the battle on large screens. Data streamed in from the fighters. The disruption is working, he told Olivia. 17 Xerian ships have lost weapons. 12 have lost engines. Olivia pointed to another screen showing the command ship, but Valex's vessel is still fully operational. It has stronger shields than the others. President Donovan's voice came through a speaker. Dr. Carter, we need to disable the command ship before they call for reinforcements. I understand, Adrian replied. We're ready to deploy the main device. In a launch bay beneath the mountain, a special missile waited. Inside was the most powerful version of Adrian's technology, designed to start a chain reaction that would spread through all Xerian power systems. Launch the Cascade, President Donovan ordered. The mountain rumbled as hidden doors opened in the side of the peak. The missile shot upward toward space, trailing blue energy. Valex saw the missile on his scanners. Another primitive weapon. 3 days after the battle, Adrian stood on a hill outside the mountain facility. He looked up at the night sky, where the captured Xerian ships still orbited Earth. Their blue hulls reflected sunlight, making them visible even in daytime. Olivia joined him on the hill. The president wants us in Washington tomorrow. They're starting peace talks with both the Xerians and Dracorians. Adrian nodded. I still can't believe it worked. Believe it, Olivia smiled. Your discovery changed everything. In Washington, D.C., the White House had been transformed into a center for galactic diplomacy. Representatives from all Earth nations gathered in the East Room. Xerian officers, now without weapons, stood to one side. On the other side were the Dracorians, tall reptilian beings with scales that shimmered in the light. Lisa Harmon stood beside President Donovan at the main table. Commander Valex and the Dracorian leader, Supreme Commander Krell, sat across from them. The terms are simple, President Donovan said. All Xerian forces will withdraw from Earth except for a small diplomatic mission. The same applies to the Dracorians. Valex frowned. And if we refuse? Lisa pushed a button on the table. A small hologram appeared, showing the Xerian fleet. Tiny points of blue light pulsed on each ship. Adrian Carter's devices remain attached to your vessels, Lisa explained. With one command, we can activate them fully. What would happen? Asked Krell, the Dracorian leader. Adrian stepped forward. The energy buildup would overload your power cores. Your ships would explode in sequence. It would be visible from Earth's surface. The room fell silent. Finally, Valex spoke. We underestimated your species, he admitted. We thought you were primitive because you hadn't mastered space travel. A foolish mistake, Krell hissed. My scientists have analyzed your technology. Earth's magnetic field is unlike any we've seen in thousands of worlds. President Donovan leaned forward. Then let's be clear. Earth is not joining either of your empires. We're declaring ourselves an independent power in galactic affairs. Both alien leaders looked surprised. The Galactic Council would never accept that, Valex said. They rejected your application 3 years ago. Lisa smiled. We've already sent them a new petition, along with data on our recent technological developments, and our demonstration of how those technologies defeated a Xerian battle fleet, added General Mills. That evening, Adrian and Olivia watched from the White House lawn as workers installed a new planetary defense system. Large towers rose around major cities, each containing smaller versions of Adrian's technology. What's next for Earth? Olivia asked. Before Adrian could answer, Greg Summers approached them with a tablet. We just received a message from the Galactic Council. They've approved Earth's petition for independent status. Adrian's eyes widened. Already? That's faster than expected. Apparently, news travels fast, Greg replied. The defeat of a Xerian fleet by a primitive species has gotten everyone's attention. 1 month later, Earth's first official starship prepared for launch. Built using technology from Project Ignition, it was larger and more advanced than any Xerian or Dracorian vessel. Adrian, Olivia, and Lisa stood in the control room as the countdown began. President Donovan addressed the world on live television. Today, humanity takes its rightful place among the stars, not as a protected species, but as equals to any civilization in the galaxy. The massive ship rose silently from its launch pad, wrapped in a blue energy field. It accelerated upward, faster than any rocket before it. In the Galactic Council chamber, millions of light years away, representatives from hundreds of worlds watched Earth's achievement on their screens. The Xerian delegate turned to his Dracorian counterpart. "They went from primitive to spacefaring in less than a year," he said, amazement in his voice. The Dracorian nodded. "Perhaps we should all remember this lesson." "What lesson?" "Never mock a species until you truly understand them," the Dracorian replied. "Especially one with a planet full of surprises." In the starship's control room, Adrian looked back at the beautiful blue Earth growing smaller behind them. The planet that aliens had mocked was now leading humanity to the stars.